What a horrible, horrible challenge. And then you discovered something that would get you to this point. What was it and how did that come about?
This, like I looked at what is the worst case scenario, and it was a chunk of change.
Got it. So let me ask you this, as we're talking about money and how things have changed for you from not totally destitute, but definitely credit driven to now free of debt, except for the debt that you carry for business purposes and other investment things. What did it? So for those that maybe that don't know anything about what's happening, but I mean, you did website building and you did telemarketing and you took all of those skills and abilities and then you discovered something that would get you to this point. What was it and how did that come about?
Yeah, I would say it's a combination of a lot of things. I'll give the first credit to God. I believe that God has helped me. So yeah. I really feel and believe that. Well, I created a service that I could charge more for and actually have profit. I didn't know what profit was. I thought that profit meant that you've got this much expenses and you've got this covered, and so you're a profitable business. Oh. I didn't realize profit meant you had to have more above it.
Yeah.
So I finally...
Yeah, revenue and profit are two different things, yes.
So I recognized that instead of selling a service, let me talk about it this way. Instead of saying, hey, I can do great things for you, you pay me $100 an hour and I'll do whatever. In order for me to make more money, now I need to charge $200 an hour or $300, or could I really charge $1,000 per hour? Like at a point, people are gonna say, are you worth $1,000 per hour? Yeah. So here's the shift I made. I started selling a result. It's like, look, here's a track record and here's an outcome that I can get you. What is that outcome worth? Regardless of how many hours it took me or my team or whatever, what's that outcome worth? And I would sell a package, and I had a track record of delivering that outcome. So it took me a long time to get the credibility, the reputation, the track record of the portfolio. But by being able to do that and put a higher price tag on it, that led me to profitability.
So have you continued to be your own salesman? Does your product, your service really sell itself? Is it referral based? I mean, what's been your sales model throughout this growth?
It's been hugely referral based. So other clients have referred other people to me, and I still have handled most of the sales conversations. I've had different forms of help along the way, most of the time where people will set to me. And I do have to give credit. I've got some referral partners. So that's the huge leap that my company's grown in this last year has been in part due to referral partners, not just getting one referral, but another company that then they have lots of clients that have been referred to me as well. So it's been referrals, but referral partners has been a big thing too.
How long ago, when did the biggest burst of growth happen, do you think? I mean, were you fairly consistent in your client base for a certain period of time and then something occurred that shot that? Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, I'd say a few things led into that too. We used to do all of our filming in an Airbnb. Now we have a studio house like this. That actually accelerated things, taking that leap and investing in a lot better gear and lighting and stuff. We used to just have the cheap stuff because we moved it around everywhere. And
so yeah, hold on a second. So I'm curious about that. You were just going on to Airbnb and selecting different properties that would fit the need of your client that you were recording.
So I'd have a client fly into Utah. We'd rent an Airbnb. They would stay there. But the place that we chose is a place that had a lot of character. So it had the fireplace with the fancy mantle, or it had brick walls, or some unique architecture that could serve as the background. That would be our filming studio.
And where did you get this idea?
It just sounded good at the time.
Yeah, I mean, it's fascinating.
No, I think I found, I don't even know why, but I remember finding a place in downtown Salt Lake City that looked great, and I thought that would be such a cool place to film in. And then after I tried it once, then I was like, oh, this is the way to go.
So,
because before that, I would film in my clients' homes, and it was local.
Yes.
Local people.
Okay. So then you're bringing people are coming in on their own. Are they paying their own way to get here? Okay. So you don't have that overhead. Well, that's awfully nice. So they come in. You've rented an Airbnb. Do you tell the owners that you're using it as a day rate studio? I mean,
some of them yes, and some of them no. The ones that I would tell yes, sometimes they wouldn't let me do it, or they wanted to charge me like 4 or 5 times because it's a commercial use. But I'm like, it's just for YouTube. I've just got one camera, and some of them were like, oh, all right. But others wanted me to they wanted me to pay them Hollywood rates. Like, you're in that world.
Right, yeah, like location fees and stuff. And they're worried about liability and all kinds of insurance issues.
I'm like, there's nothing to worry about. We'll leave it cleaner.
I love the way your story kind of changed. It's just YouTube. It's just a dumb little video. What are you going to do? And meanwhile, it's your livelihood. So that's fun. So I just wanted to enlighten all of us about that. I think those are interesting stories, how that all began. So then at a certain point, you said, okay, so the idea to get a single location with a lot of different looks, what was the genesis of that?
Well, we had enough volume. I was renting so many Airbnbs per month. Some of them we'd rent one for a week and had several clients come. And I think it was a conversation that my friend Devin and I had about maybe you could look at this. And I thought, it just seemed like a really big step.
Yeah.
But once I started looking into it, it got me excited. And this is another attribution that I'll credit God. I think I've learned that sometimes He gives me excitement for things. That's like a step I need to take. This particular house, I was nervous about it. It was a big step. This is bigger than my home.
Right.
And
I think it's bigger than all of our homes. Oh, you got it. Yeah. There you go.
But
a little more. Got it.
Admittedly, I prayed about it. And
I was going to ask that.
And anything that I felt, I would pray about, I'm kind of feeling worried about this. What if this happens? And I got the same answer multiple times. There's nothing to worry about. Those words, just there's nothing to worry about. I'm like, okay. So I would move forward. A week later, stresses would come back and I'd pray again. There's nothing to worry about. And now, a little over a year past that point, man, I'm so glad I made this decision. Yeah. It really allowed me to take my business. We use the phrase to another level, but it really did, because it's a great environment that I control. There's a lot of things that can happen with Airbnbs, from noise you can't control, people stomping on floors, or construction, or the ceiling being lower than it looked like in the photos, but also being able to upgrade my gear and better systematize, the room through that wall there. I often use as my office. Mm-hmm. And so I'm actually here with filming, where a lot of the filming work kind of got out of my vision, where I just didn't know what was going on.
I love what you're saying here, and it makes me think about others who might be in a position with their budding small businesses, their own entrepreneurial efforts, where you incorporate divinity into your business plan. Mm-hmm. Like, you don't want to, this is a big deal. This is a 7,000 square foot home that probably cost $1 million or whatever. And that's to go to your wife and say, I think we should spend $1 million on a place for us to do more work. I feel like it's the right thing to do. There may be others who perhaps don't have that particular relationship with any God. My question for you is, because this is such a great lesson to be learned, of having to take risks, calculated, measured risks, is that something that you, from this point on, advocate for? You know what I mean? I know it's on a case-by-case basis, but can you give advice like that without the divine seal of approval? Does that make sense, what I'm asking? Because I believe what you believe, but I mean, others may think, gosh.
So I believe in entrepreneurship, and I think entrepreneurship is naturally, it requires taking risks. But I think that I'm not I don't seek for risk. I don't seek for high risk.
No, of course.
So when you talk about calculated risk, it's like, yeah, absolutely. Like, understanding what is the risk, and can I survive the worst case scenario? And if you can, then that's a risk that you can take, because what's the best case scenario? What's the likely scenario? Yeah. I looked at what is the worst case scenario, and it was a chunk of change. It's like, okay, I could lose that amount of money. If I lost that amount of money, we'd still be okay. We could always go back to the Airbnb. I could go back. I could just go onto the website and grab an Airbnb to film, for our filming tomorrow if I had to. What I thought was my best case scenario, I was really conservative. I remember talking to one of my team members and saying, all right, and he was helping with kind of lead generation. It's like, okay, this is the amount of clients we need to get over the next year in order to for me to feel really good that we're on track. We blew that out of the water. We got way more clients than that. So it's just better than, it turned out way better than I was even hoping for. So.
Yeah. Well, and it's nice to know that, like you say, you calculate what could be the worst case scenario, which would be, the way I look at it, if I were talking to my partner, I'd be like, well, if worst case scenario, we sell our house, and just come over and live.
And I wasn't even willing to risk that. This was, the worst case scenario wasn't even that. It was just, we've got all this covered. I had...
Well, that was a luxury you had then, at least to some degree, where other people may not, where they may be taking risks, but they can see the upside of the risk, and it calculates out, and you go, gosh, all we got to do is pull the trigger and go. I'm in that boat almost always, and I'll look to you and I'll go, well, Nate, he did it.
What's crazy, you mentioned the support of my wife, because we just acquired another property in Florida, and which is a bigger property, not larger in square feet, but it costs more than the property here. And it's been really fun to have her support and her excitement about that property as well. It's part of the reason that I have a hesitation to do it, but logically, I've got a lot of clients in Florida. I've got a lot of other clients that are much closer to Florida than to Utah, and so to set up a hub there. Another logical reason, I've got a great team here in Utah, but some days, especially if we've got 2 clients filming on the same day, we've kind of been stretched a little thin. We might need to add another videographer or 2 to our team here, while having some of my clients shift to being filmed in Florida. That it eases up the schedule here in Utah, and we're still going to grow and expand. But
what a horrible, horrible challenge to have to face. You just got too much work. Yeah.
I don't actually have any employees.
Where the word entitlement can be softened a little, where it's...
I have not, because that would ruin it here.
That would ruin it here. Oh, don't get me started now. We really, that's a shame.